talked about how a mother's medical history impacts how a pediatrician takes care of a breastfed baby, and also how a mother's surgical history impacts how we take care of a breastfed baby. There's one more ingredient there that you need to let your doctor know about if you're breastfeeding, and that's your diet. So almost all diets of all cultures across the globe are consistent and healthy for breastfeeding. So it's not really the tiny little bits of what you eat and how healthy it is that we need to know about, but we need to know if you have any restrictions from your diet. So do you eat meat every day? Do you restrict meat? Do you have other sources of iron in your diet? Do you eat eggs? Do you drink dairy products? So B12 is one of the ingredients in breast milk that really is correlated with what a mother's diet is. So if a mother is vegan, that means that she has no animal products at all in her diet. Then without extra B12 supplementation, the breastfed infant will absolutely be B12 deficient. And it has it's difficult to diagnose. It's kind of a slow progress of how a baby would present with low B12 levels. And very often, as pediatricians, we forget to ask about dietary restrictions. So at the very first office visit, when you're filling out the past medical history form in the family history area, if you could list your diet, anything that you don't take in your diet, that would be helpful for us. Sometimes a mother is gluten-free, and that doesn't really impact the breast milk per se, but it helps us know if a mother's diet is too restricted, that she doesn't have enough calories, and we have to look at ways to get extra fat and protein for her. When you're breastfeeding, it's a good idea to have lots of rich and diverse fats of all different kinds. Plant-based fats, vegetable-based fats, and if you eat animal products, animal fats, fish, eggs. So a diverse diet with different types of fats is important for your babies, the types of fats that go into your milk. I would love to say that eating healthy would help you make more breast milk, but that's really not true. And the more fatty and salty food that you eat, probably the more milk you will make. So when you're happy about the food you eat, the more salty food you eat, the more water that you end up drinking, that probably is helping you make more milk. And so you really don't have to have a very restricted, perfect diet to make great milk for your baby. You can eat and drink pretty much whatever you want. There's so many myths around different types of foods causing symptoms in babies, and that is a classic kind of mother-in-law or grandmother or great-grandmother who will babysit the child and say, the gas is from the broccoli that you ate yesterday. Or the reason he cries so much is because you eat spicy food. And so none of these things are true, and you can decide whether you want to argue with your mother-in-law or not. But really, infants all across the world eat think about the mothers in India and China, all across the globe, have very different diets with different spices, and those babies do just fine with that breast milk. So our office, we would want to know if a baby had blood in their stools. That could be a sign that they had a true milk protein allergy, but the vast majority of mothers can eat and drink whatever they like.